Hey YouTubers, welcome back to Guitars, Whiskey, and Golf. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you'll think about subscribing to the channel. I talk about whiskey. I do cocktail lessons. I also do some golf tips and golf lessons, as well as guitar lessons and tips on improving guitar. So if you're into music and you're into golf and you're into whiskey, this is the channel for you. So I hope you think about subscribing. So what do I've got today? I've got Lucky Seven the Jokester. So if you've seen some of my previous videos, you know that I did a video on Lucky 714, the proprietor, and I called that my greatest whiskey of all time. I felt that for a variety of reasons, that was the best bourbon that I've ever tasted. Just the complexity, the depth of flavor. That is a very high proof whiskey. I think the proof on the proprietor is about 134 or something like that. But that whiskey is complex, deep, rich, and is a massive explosion of flavor on your palate. It's truly an incredible whiskey. So that whiskey got me very interested in the Lucky Seven line of bourbons and spirits. And I figured, you know what? That proprietor was so good. I need to check out some of their other offerings. So the first one that I've purchased since then is the Jokester. So a little bit about Lucky Seven. They are not a distillery. They source their whiskey. They don't really say who it's from. Word on the street is that they're sourcing their whiskey from Barton. So same company that brings you 1792. And Bardstown Bourbon Company does their bottling. So Lucky Seven is just a couple of guys that got together, wanted to start a whiskey company, and they're super into movies. So if you notice on the front of their bottle, they have these what look like movie tickets. And you can actually peel those things open like that, and they'll tell you a little bit about the jokester, which is this expression, and a little bit about their company, etc. So that's just kind of like a cool thing that they do. Um, they're not very transparent, in terms of, like I said, you don't really know where it's sourced from. The bottle doesn't say what the mash bill is. But if you go online onto Lucky Seven Spirits, you can find some information. This expression is a 6-year-old bourbon, probably sourced from Barton, but I don't know that for sure. It's a 95 proofer. So I'm excited to talk a little bit about this one because uh, it is, again, another fantastic bourbon from Lucky Seven. So getting into the nose. Definitely get some hints of vanilla, but I'm getting a lot of fruitiness on the nose here. It's kind of hard to pull out what kind of fruit, but I would say sort of a mixture of dark fruits. But this is a much lighter whiskey than, say, the proprietor, which was heavy and dense and intense. This is a much lighter expression at 95 proof. The nose, like I said, I'm getting some oak, sort of a mixture of fruit, like maybe berries, certainly vanilla. And I'm also getting kind of like a candied nut, like almost like, you remember Jordan almonds, those candy coated almonds? Kind of getting something like that. Really nice nose. It's not overpowering, it's not in your face. It's just a subtle mixture of nice berries, of some vanilla, some spice, some oak, and maybe, like I said, some candied almond of some kind. So I'm really liking the nose. It's easy on the on the easy side in terms of a nosing. Go one more time to see if I can pull anything else out of it. I think that's about it. So cheers. Let's get into a sip and see what we've got here. A lot of spicy oak coming through on the palate. So I've had a couple of sips off of this, and I wanted to come back to it a couple of times before I reviewed it to see if my tasting notes remain consistent. Because as we all know, when we taste whiskey, sometimes one day we taste this, another day we taste that. Sometimes you go back to a whiskey that you didn't think you liked that much, and suddenly you're like, wow, I really like this. Or the exact opposite. You thought you loved something, you go back to it and you're like, it's not as good as I thought it was. Getting that kind of candied Jordan almond thing, definitely a nice kind of mixture of fruit like berries. It's interesting, the oak presence on this one for me translates into a black licorice kind of a flavor. Now, a lot of times when you do tasting notes, it's not that I exactly taste black licorice. It's that the combination of notes is sort of reminiscent of, say, a black licorice or reminiscent of berries, whatever it is. Rarely are you tasting exactly the way a strawberry tastes or exactly the way this or that tastes. It's just for some reason, you know how the nose and tastes work. Scents are very connected to our memories. You can smell something that will immediately take you back to when you were a child or something like that. And that's just the way the brain works. Aromas and tastes are highly connected to our memories. So for me, this takes me back to sort of like almost like a Good and Plenty kind of black licorice taste. Now it's subtle, and I'm not saying when you drink this you're like drinking black licorice. It's not like that. And it's a tasting note that quite frankly I almost never get in bourbon, but I'm loving it on this Jokester expression from Lucky Seven. Yeah, it just reminds me of black licorice. I keep coming back to that. So I don't want to make this a super long video. I'm a big fan of Lucky Seven. I've got the proprietor off my right shoulder up on the shelf there. This Jokester, I think I overpaid for it. You should be able to get this for about 65 bucks, maybe 70 bucks or something like that. And I paid 85. So I think I probably overpaid, but I want to give you a little Guitars, Whiskey, and Golf tip. For Lucky Seven, you can buy their products right on their website. So go right to their website and you can purchase what they have in stock. They're not going to always have maybe what you're looking for, but you're always going to find at least 4 expressions of Lucky Seven for sale right on their website. And it's just going to be the manufacturer's suggested retail price. So you're not going to pay a big markup. These bottles are treated out in the retail liquor space almost like allocated bottles. So they're hard to find. When you do, certainly the liquor stores are marking them up. So my personal recommendation, definitely check out Lucky Seven. I think they have fantastic whiskeys, and go to their website and purchase directly from them, because I think you'll just get it at manufacturer suggested retail price, and that's definitely the way to go. There's a couple of other Lucky Seven expressions, the Holiday Toast, and the Frenchman, that I'm looking forward to getting. So to wrap this up, strong recommendation from me on the Jokester. I think it's a fantastic bourbon. I think it drinks much more powerfully and with a depth of flavor that you don't necessarily always get on a mid-90s proofer. So I think it punches above its weight. It's worth the money. Go onto their website and see if you can purchase it directly from them. And I think you'll get the best deal that way. So thanks for joining me today. Cheers, everyone. The Jokester from Lucky Seven is a major hit for me. Punches above its weight. So you take care and have a great rest of your week.